Good evening, everybody. I am your host, Hoodlum, and today we are going to be getting into some more of our Swedish Empire campaign. Loading up the save file right now, so that might take a while. But I'm planning on using this moment to talk about some of the patch notes that came out. So if you didn't know, Hearts of Iron 4 is going through an update soon, the 1.1 patch. Basically what it's trying to do is it's trying to fix a lot of the AI issues that have been going on. For instance, the AI Germany likes to build a lot of naval, what are they called, dockyards, which doesn't really make a lot of sense because the naval game for Germany is nearly impossible to win. I mean, the United States starts out with somewhat of 276 ships, the United Kingdom even more, and they have well enough dockyards to outpace Germany at any point in the game, as long as they don't lose all their territory. So, yeah, and I think I'm going to avoid spending resources actually on it, but I'm going to build up some convoys. I think that'll be our best course of action, just stockpiling some convoys. You don't actually need the oil resource to produce anything, so that's what I'm gonna basically be going on. Okay, we have low manpower. Alright, so we're working down our collectivist ethos here on the far right. Now, if you can see, nationalism gives you a daily fascism support, and then the militarism will give you a 5% recruitable population. And that's really what we're working for here. Is getting this 5% is absolutely key to winning as a small fascist nation, because if you didn't know, Sweden doesn't have a lot of people. Its most populous province, Svealand, has 1.51 million, and here you have provinces scattered and a little bit under a million, but that's still not a whole lot altogether. We have a little under 10 million people at the start of the game. And so we're going to take our Sverige, and I believe we have until the 17th of October to declare any war. So while we're basically just waiting to declare war. That's what this whole thing is. So looking here, straight and divisions still preparing. I don't think we'll have any divisions preparing in a little bit. Let's look at our logistical situation. Alright, so we're building up infantry equipment. We'll have that in time. We have enough towed artillery equipment. That's going to be important. Let's see. Support equipment's fine. Eventually, building up fighters will be nice, but I don't think we need to do that at this very moment. Yeah. So, if you didn't know, convoys are what you use for naval invasions. And so, my plan for invading Finland is, instead of fighting through the northern provinces, which are just all forest and just terrible to fight through. I mean, this entire area is forest. I'm planning on launching a naval invasion from this province right here, Uusimaa, and see if we could snatch up Helsinki very quickly. And if not, I plan on holding out in a few of these forest provinces, which once again are very good for defense. And as far as expansion, it's just going to be a slow fight because all of the victory points for Finland are basically in the southern half of the nation. But the easiest way to invade it is through the northern half or the northern part of the nation, because that's all we border. Because there's no crossing right here to help us. Let's see, we're missing equipment production. Now that makes sense, but we don't really need any naval bombers at this very moment, or fighters. I really wish we could have captured some of the bombers that we were fighting earlier. Alright, we're up to 11 convoys. That's nice, that's nice. It's just going to be very slow building up an actual navy. Now, I've been thinking, for some reason in this game, heavy cruisers aren't worth as much, like they're not balanced properly, to where it's actually worth more to get a bunch of destroyers and submarines, because just the way the game works. So I'm going to take all of my light cruisers and just simply disband them so we can get the manpower from them. That's what I'm going for, because I know we're not going to win the naval game, but just having a few destroyers and submarines is probably the best for us. So I'm going to try and figure out how to disband a fleet. Now this might take a while because I've never actually done it. I just thought it would be a good idea to build up some manpower. So, I'm sure somebody's cringing in the comment section down below. By the way, just like and subscribe. I hope you guys are enjoying this series so far. I really enjoy playing Hearts of Iron. I wish there was an easy way to disband troops in this game. For instance, I don't really know how to get rid of any. Alright, so I'm eventually gonna figure out. I don't think they take up enough manpower for it to matter, though. I was really hoping we'd be able to get rid of these heavy cruisers, because I know they take up some manpower, but I mean, it's not significant. There's only 5,000 people in the whole Swedish Navy. So we're just waiting. It's mostly a waiting game right now. Alright, let's see what we could put into office here. Or whom. I think since we have our war economy, we have a volunteer army currently, which doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it. I should have, during the Civil War, changed to extensive conscription, so I didn't do that, which I'm going to regret. I don't want to get service by requirement because of the construction speed and factory output, which we desperately need at this point. I think I'm going to switch to limited conscription, because that'll give us a lot more population to work with in our army, so we have 62,000 more troops. And I'm hoping that's the right investment to make right now. Yeah. So I'm going to try and train up these militärområden as fast as possible. I'm thinking of getting a few mechanized troops, because I believe that they are the best for moving through very quickly. You see they have a max speed of 12 kilometers per hour. The only issue is, movement-wise, they have trouble moving through forests, which is 50%, which once again, you can clearly see that forests are in fact the worst. Don't go to them. You know, they are terrible. Maybe getting some cavalry brigades will be better, because they can move faster through all terrains. So I think instead of the the motorized divisions, I'm gonna train up just like a couple. Let's see, yes, 2 cavalry brigades. And as you can see, we have just a tiny bit of infantry equipment. So we'll put them right there. Wait, did it assign them to this? No, I didn't set a location. So start off in Stockholm and go to our general here. Now, I wish there were more portraits, so you'd have more unique generals, because this General Erik af Edholm, there's probably about by the end of this game, if we have a lot of generals, we'll probably have about 12 who look just like him, which, you know, it kind of takes a lot of the immersion out, but they're limited by technology, and honestly, it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't really change the game significantly. I know there are still nations out there that have generic leaders for them. Looking around, trying to figure that out, who has a generic leader or not. But it used to be in like Xinjiang. I know they replaced the leader for him. Let's see, we got Mongolia. Yeah, see, they have the same exact leader, which doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it. Yeah, it's a little bit weird to have 3 countries all ruled by the same guy, but somehow independent of each other. So you see right here, the only thing he's changing is his suit. And he has his little communist pin. Those damn commies. Alright, so, working through, Amelia Earhart disappears. You know, that's actually good for us, because the United States, when World War II starts, if Amelia Earhart survives, they get her as an ace. And as far as I know, she's a pretty good fighter from the start of the game. Alright, so we got our construction 2. Looking around. I don't see any 1937 text that would be directly helpful to us. So, actually, maybe I should move I'm guessing I'm gonna grab a logistics company, because supply usage in this game is insane, especially how you can't set up like real supply lines, you just have supply zones, which honestly doesn't make a lot of sense. You have different caches throughout the game. You have 115, 113, but then as soon as you move, like, say, one province over, somehow it doesn't, like, you don't immediately run through this one region. It's its own supply region, and that doesn't really make a lot of sense. It seems kind of arbitrary, a lot of these lines, and it really makes combat difficult in low supply regions. Yeah, so I'm gonna press play. Alright, it looks like we're gonna be able to very quickly destroy the Norwegians here. I don't see there being anything too hard about this. This guy, I'm basically going to manually command him to go straight for Oslo. Now, I probably won't be able to take it immediately, and I'm planning on having the cavalry right about here to cut off immediately these 3 troops, and they'll go in low supply, and then capturing this port here will prevent them from sending supplies downward. And my goal is basically to bleed them dry. Looking around, okay, we have our concentrated industry 2. That's gonna be helpful. Looking around, I want to go down the superior firepower doctrine, because we don't have a large number, extensive planning. A lot of what's in here isn't the most helpful, because a lot of it is basically it's more helpful for the Germans, is what I'd say. Looking around here, maybe going blitzkrieg would be helpful for us, since we would get this immediately helpful. Like, we get a lot of speed. We don't have a lot of organization loss. We have a lot of planning speed. I think I'm gonna go with mobile warfare, actually. Change things up a bit. I went superior firepower last campaign, and so I'm trying to shake it up just a tiny bit, but not too much, because that would be terrifying. Let's see, yeah. Most of our manpower is already in our army at this current moment. Looking at our air troops, I think I'm just going to disband all these planes, because they're basically negligible. I don't know why we have naval bombers made for carriers. I think that's a very odd thing to have as Sweden, because I mean, that doesn't really make any sense. I mean, Sweden doesn't start with a carrier, so why would they have? I mean, unless they do. Yeah, see, we have heavy cruisers and light cruisers, so that's a little bit odd to me. Okay, we have a free civilian factory. They're working on repairing Svealand's naval port, which, I mean, it's fine, but not the most helpful. Yeah, I think I'm gonna build up our military factories. I think that most directly affects us. So we'll go and do that. And this one will be done hopefully before the war. That would be nice. Yeah, it'll be done in August, which will be very helpful. Alright, so as I was talking about earlier, we're going to go for our nationalism focus. We're going to get daily fascism support, which will definitely help from preventing another civil war, because currently the NSAP isn't necessarily have a full hold on Sweden. We have the non-aligned party, the SKP, and the SAP, while our NSAP, our nationalists, only have a 60% control over the politics of the region. And hopefully that'll free up this this slot for the fascist demagogue, so we can change it to maybe a silent workhorse or a compassionate gentleman, which I think would be most helpful, because working on relations in this game, I mean, it's kind of weird. Opinions in this game only matter before World War II, really, when you think about it, because as soon as you're at war with, like, say, the Allies, you can't trade with any of the Allies. As soon as you're at war with the Comintern, you can't trade with any of the Comintern. So it's as soon as you declare war on one of the Allies, or you're at war with them, it doesn't really, there's nothing you can do opinion-wise. The diplomacy in this game feels very one-sided. Like, for instance, I can only send Lend-Leases, send volunteers, sending expeditionary forces. I can only do things to them. I can't ask for much. I can only ask for control of a state, or ask to join their faction, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Joining the Axis in the beginning is mostly just to secure trade, depending on how the game fleshes out. And if it ends up that I start World War II on accident very early against the Allies, I mean, so be it, honestly. At the start of the game, France is in a very terrible position as far as her units go, and so I think Germany could take them. However, it is the Maginot Line. Now, as you can see, they have 10 out of 10. Ooh, Japan declared war on Shaanxi. You know, that's probably not good. Yeah, Japan is currently just at war with Shaanxi here, I bet. Yeah. I'm gonna see who all was involved in that war. Yep, Japan declared war on China. Japanese Shaanxi War. They're not merging, so the Chinese won't be able to help Shaanxi, which is really just bad for Shaanxi. Honestly, I feel bad for them. Yeah, I think that Japan's just. I think Japan's going to do very well in this war. Yeah, you have the Chinese United Front. That's the faction that China usually starts. And what China should be doing is grabbing up as many countries as possible. But I don't typically see that. Oh, they absorbed Gangxi Click. I mean, let's see what else they can absorb. I don't know. It's a little bit weird how they can absorb so much. Alright. So, another uneventful episode. I'm gonna mark the episode where I actually go to war. That way you guys can, you know, have a little bit of fun knowing when and what and where everything is happening. Looking around. Yep. Are they going to be done by October? That's an important question. October 21st. I don't know how that coincides with our invasion date on Norway. So, I think we're going to wait until the 21st for those cavalrymen to come out. I think that'll be the best for us. Alright, looking here. Very democratic. They're working on infrastructure, so we know they have at least 2 down in construction efforts, so that means that they have a good industry to start the game, which is good for us. We're not the largest generator of world tension right now, so that's good. However, it's up to 26%, and now that I believe that means that democracies are allowed to send volunteers. Just in general. See, sent 1 volunteer divisions. Who sent a volunteer division? Yep. So the Soviets are getting involved. Why did Germany send a volunteer division to China? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Especially because Japan is supposedly supposed to be one of the allies for Germany in the future. If anyone should be acquiring that, it should be Japan getting a German troop. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Huh. Anyway, that's been our first episode. World War II is well on its way. China is uniting up against Japan and performing naval invasions, doing all these kinds of things. So thank you for joining me. I've been your host, Hoodlum, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps. And just thank you.